Thanks so much for being with us this morning. And it's some good news. Families are being reunited as the highly anticipated Trans-Tasman bubble officially opens. It marks the first time in more than a year that Australians can travel to New Zealand without having to quarantine.
For more, we're joined by Nine Honey Shelley Horton and Nine reporter Charles Croucher. Shelley, I'm going to go to you first. It is, look, a bubble. There's rumours this morning as well of a Singapore bubble. We're going to start getting these little pockets throughout Southeast Asia with us, which feels exciting. We could book a holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I am so excited for my Kiwi friends because I have a couple of Kiwi friends here who haven't seen their family in over a year. And some have had ill parents. Like there's a lot of emotion. I'm loving seeing on Instagram, they're all posting it with "I'm coming home." That music just makes me want to cry just for that.
Yeah.
For me personally, I've been to New Zealand like 5 times. So therefore, I'm going to keep travelling within Australia until I get the more bubbles open. Like I'd probably go to Singapore.
There you go.
But I'm just going to wait, spend my money here, see what happens, and then, as soon as I can go somewhere, that's on my bucket list, I will go.
All right.
It might be hard to even get there though, Charles, because everyone's going to be wanting to get a ticket. What do you think about this? I mean, we know that there is a risk still involved. Borders can still slam shut.
Yeah, the travel bubble becomes a travel experiment, really, for these first few weeks. And when that first case comes, and it will come, be it in Australia or New Zealand, it's going to be interesting to see how well coordinated, how on the same page everyone can be. And I say everyone because that's not just Scott Morrison and Jacinda Ardern, but it's the individual states. And we've seen that when the Australian states come together, they can't always play well when they sit at the same table. Now we're adding the New Zealanders in there as well. Look, we all hope this goes well for all the people Shelley mentioned, for the businesses, for the families, for the people that have had to grieve the loss of loved ones on their own or away from the family and friends that need them most. We really hope this goes well. We really hope that the premiers and the prime ministers, there are 2 in play here, can hold their nerve as well when those first cases come. It's a big test, and as we've heard today from the Deputy Prime Minister with the idea of Singapore, and they're also looking at Taiwan and Japan and some Pacific islands as well, there is a chance to take this, regional, and then hopefully eventually it's the first steps to taking it global. But the first big test is going to come with that first case, whichever side of the Tasman it's on.
Let's just hope that we're all wrong and it doesn't happen. I know what you mean, though, Charles. Now, look, Victoria is ramping up its vaccination program with 3 mass hubs to open on Wednesday as the state resumes use of the Astrazeneca vaccine in over 50s and people under 50 who want it. Now, this comes after GPs saw mass cancellations over the weekend. Sho, what do you think about this? If it comes to the vaccine and you can't get the Pfizer, I'm at the age bracket where I'm close enough to get the AstraZeneca. I think to myself, damn it, I might as well just do it and do my part for the country.
I feel exactly the same way, and I would go to a mass clinic. I would happily line up, and I think you need to remember that everything has a risk associated.
Yeah.
But if you get COVID, you are 9 times more likely to get a blood clot than from the vaccine.
And you're highly contagious.
And it is one of those things. I mean, I've been on the pill for 20 years, and that causes blood clots. I accept that risk. The other risk is falling pregnant. That's the risk I didn't accept. So every medicine has a risk associated, and I think we need to remember that we can't be scaremongering. We don't want people being too afraid to have it. We want them to feel reassured and understand the pros and cons. But I like the idea of opening it up to other age groups, because if the over 70s are a bit nervous, maybe they'll be encouraged when the under 50s go and
we don't want to
get
waste
a
all
jab.
that backlog sitting there too.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing, on the news last night, the GPs are frustrated because they've got fridges full of these vaccinations, Charles, and they should be in people's arms instead.
Yeah, I'd have one tomorrow without a hesitancy at all, and that's because we know that the way to win this battle, and it becomes a messaging battle, like a PR battle between the government in many ways, who wants to get needles into arms, and those sceptics that are out there, and the way to win it is by pure data. Overwhelm them with the numbers, and that's what we just heard from Shelley before. And this is something that we've seen also. We've got a chance now, because Australia's handled this so well, let's steal the best ideas from other countries and implement them here in Australia, be it best marketing ideas or best vaccination ideas. they had a great setup here in Melbourne where they used the old hall, which was the first place that Parliament sat, the place they used to vaccinate people in the 1917 flu. Let's do that again now, because we've seen the success of that in the US, where success has been very, very hard to come by, and now success in Britain. Why not steal those ideas and get them implemented? We had the smart people in charge. They rolled out in the way you should be done. But this is a real chance to get back in front of what is something that's getting away from us a little bit when it comes to vaccinations.
I love that. Yes. Make it a destination thing to do. Almost like let's put on a concert, but you can't get in until you get a jab.
Yeah.
On the way in. I can't like that idea. Jabapalooza. Charles, that's the one.
They're the best. Okay, Charles and Shelley, stay with us. Coming up, Byron Bay boycott. The businesses lashing out at the new reality series. See you soon. Welcome back. Normally, Aussie communities would welcome a TV production on our shores, but not Byron Bay. The mayor is calling on his council to oppose the mega Netflix production of Byron Bay's, a new reality show about influencers living in the northern New South Wales town.
Shelley and Charles are still here to discuss this show. What do you reckon? I mean, it is tough going in Byron as it is. I went a couple of years ago before COVID and before the Hollywood hit there, and even then it's hard driving through town. But do you think this is going to be a lot of money going into that community?
That's right. Look,
do you think the locals can do this, like stopping a Macca's coming into the town?
This is the perfect example of NIMBY, not in my backyard, but it's Mullumbimby NIMBY. It is going to bring so much employment, so much, a boost to the economy. And the thing is, Byron hasn't been the hippie town it was for years. No. It's basically Little Sydney now, and it is full of influencers. So I can understand that there is that, attraction to film with the realities, a reality show there. And I think that people who are saying, oh, it's going to displace homeless people, and I'm like, well, every town changes. You can't just say, because I've lived here for 20 years, you're not allowed to change around me.
Couldn't that injection of money help the homeless problem?
It could indeed. Think about it. This is a huge chance. This is providing so much employment for cameramen and caterers and all of that sort of stuff as well. So I think they need to look a bit outside the box rather than just be, we don't like it because it's influencers.
Look for the positives, not the negatives. I mean, Charles, it's a huge battle, a David versus Goliath battle, really. I mean, locals want answers as to why Netflix didn't consult the community first.
Yeah, the idea of Byron Bay being David's starting to stretch it as well. That Mullumbimby NIMBY could become Nimbin NIMBY. But as Shelley said, this is what happens when, people beat a path to the track that's off the beaten path. You don't have that claim anymore. And those people that you mentioned, caterers, camera people, those in the arts, are all people that have been doing it really tough over the last 18 months because of COVID. I'm not sure even legally what kind of grounds the Byron Bay Council will have to stop someone filming, particularly if on its street. I guess you just don't give permits to park trucks and do all the rest there. But, this is a huge injection of money. It's a huge company taking it on. If there's one thing we've learnt sort of time and time again, particularly with a town the size of Byron now, this is no longer one of those little coastal towns that's fighting against the man. In many ways, Byron Bay has the money of the man. And so I think this is a battle they're going to lose because of the size of Netflix, because of the demand there is from anyone else out there who wants to see what these people do in day-to-day life. And let's be honest, you can get angry at the Mirror every morning, but it's not the Mirror's fault, and that's what Netflix is providing.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's been a big call in the Financial Review this morning that Netflix need to put their hands in their pockets if they're going to film in Australia and invest in Australian product. And this is just one of them. I do know, a little bird has told us this morning that there will be members of Byron community on the Today Show tomorrow. So ooh, I know. Charles, good to see you, buddy. Shelley, good to see you too.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Next on Today Extra, will Harry stay in the UK for the Queen's 95th birthday?